Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Aussie Endzone podcast. And we've got a very special guest with us because it is Super Bowl weekend, because it's more or less Friday morning here. Super Bowl is upon us, Super Bowl 56, with the unlikely rivals of the Bengals and the Rams. But we've got Super Bowl 47 with the Ravens winner, Bryant McKinnie, joining us to talk about his career, Super Bowl predictions, and everything involved with that. Thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, how's your week been so far, Bryant?
Well, thanks for having me. My week has been pretty good, productive, so that's good. I just got in 5 minutes ago, just in time to be on here.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to discussing football with you guys.
Awesome. So let's get started. We're obviously joined by Manjot. Unfortunately, we aren't joined by Tomo and Brad, who had work today, but we've got questions from them lined up in the lists. So let's get started. You grew up in Woodbury, New Jersey. What was it like growing up in that area, playing for Woodbury High School, all that sort of stuff?
It was cool. It was a small town. We didn't have a lot of people go pro from that area at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, honestly, me playing was just me just playing. My friends played. I actually started off playing basketball.
Oh, wow.
My mom put me in wrestling first. She put me in wrestling first. Then I think around 5th grade, I started playing basketball. And she put me in wrestling. She said for discipline. Then I started playing basketball, and I loved basketball. And I played that all the way up into high school. And then one year, I think, I didn't start playing football till high school, so 9th grade. So one year, basketball tryouts, and you still had to try out even if they knew you were good. Was the day after, our Thanksgiving game or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was tired. I was like, I don't feel like going, and I just never went back.
Yeah, fair.
I didn't go back. I was like sore or something like that. I'm like, I don't like one of these shots. And they don't let me play, then I just don't play. And then I really just, really got into football from there. I didn't play. I did track and field, believe it or not. And I did the shot put, which I was, pretty good at. The discus, here and there, I didn't have the best technique in neither one of them, but I was just strong, so I was able to throw the shot put better than I could throw the discus.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, the 400. They had me do the 400 meters.
Wow.
I was a lot slimmer. Probably like 110 pounds slimmer.
Wow.
120 pounds slimmer. So it was different, but I was always kind of fast, and I knew how to use my stride. So I ended up doing that.
Yeah, nice. And then obviously from Woodbury, you then went to, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong. Is it Lackawanna? That's the one. Yeah, Lackawanna. Yeah. You played on the defensive line for 2 years. What was it like, playing in the D line, and what was the intensity level compared to high school football in college football?
Well, actually at Lackawanna, so it was after National Signing Day.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a dream of mine to go play in the league or anything, because like I said, I came from a small town where that wasn't a thing.
Yep.
Like that wasn't happening. Somebody mailed in the videotape of a running back who was behind me.
Mm-hmm.
He was a year behind me, and he was really good. And somebody mailed in the videotape to the University of Iowa. When that tape was a running back and also myself. And he said, "Well, who is this guy?" So his name is Frank Verducci, who I've never met ever in person. I've talked to on the phone.
Yep.
And
he still never met him to this day?
Never met him.
Oh, wow.
Even in the pros, he ended up becoming a pro coach. He coached for, I think, Dallas or something. A team I played against. I was going through the media guy one time. I was like, "Oh my God, it's him!"
Ah.
I was like hoping I would see him after the game, but just didn't.
Yeah.
But basically, he's the guy who changed my life. So he came to the school. Of course, he wanted to meet with the running back, but he also wanted to meet with me. It was after National Signing Day. They didn't have no more scholarships. And he was like, "Okay, I'm going to send you to a 2-year school. It's a junior college I have a relationship with. His name is Mark Duda. He's the head coach there. I have a relationship with him. I'm going to send you there." So in college, in high school, I played defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But when they sent me to Lackawanna, they wanted me to learn how to play left tackle.
Oh, okay. I thought it was when you went to Miami that it was left tackle, but no, it was at Lackawanna.
Yeah. So they're like, "We're going to give you a scholarship, and you're already guaranteed to come to Iowa once you leave this 2-year school."
Mm-hmm.
So I had a scholarship to go to JUCO, so I was like, "I'm just go if worst come to worst, at least just get a 2-year education or whatever.
Hey, that's it. And you get it paid for hitting people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I agree. And so I went, and I went there, and it was like, oh gosh, I graduated when I was 17, so I was like 17 the first, like month and a half of being there. My birthday's the end of September. So your body's still developing. I wasn't like lifting weights heavy. That's why I said I was like 100 and like 20 pounds lighter.
Yep.
So I wasn't like in lifting weights and everything. So I got there. I had to basically build a foundation, lifting weights, learn how to play this position. I never played against the guy who was a JUCO All-American.
Wow.
So his second year is me coming in, never playing this position before.
Yep.
Going against this guy every day.
Wow.
That's
that's insane.
It was like I had
That's crazy.
It was like, oh my gosh, like you really want to do this? And I'm gonna tell you what's funny is, sorry to backtrack, but when I first started playing football, my grandma, she was into me playing basketball. So when I went out for football, she was like, you ain't gonna really like football. She like, stick with basketball. I'm like, you probably quit football. What?
I think the best decision you made was not to quit football.
Listen, so that was always in my mind every time. So even like when I got the scholarship to the Lackawanna, I like, Grandma, remember you said I was gonna quit? Yeah, I know. So then go to Lackawanna, I go there, and in the back of my mind, days where I wanted to like just quit, it was her voice like, you gonna quit? It was like, just go. So I just kept going.
For getting me to the NFL.
Right. I just kept going because I heard that voice every time. And then it got to a point where when the guy I was going against, I just understood it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got it. Like,
Like the game sort of slowed down for you against the opposition.
Yeah, it slowed down. I was understanding things. I never played this position before. So, all training camp and then, everything. Everything something just slowed down one day. I remember it was a day of a game. And my coach had us doing, you had to do like one-on-one drills with the D-line and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they had me do the run blocking drill first with this guy named Big Kev, who was like 300 pounds. I still wasn't 300 pounds at the time.
Yep.
And I was able to drive him off the ball and move him. And my coach was like, do it again. And he did it again. He's like, do it again. I was like, we still got a game. So I did it again. And then he had me do, now came time to pass pro. And it was against this guy. And then it was just like, something just clicked. Like
everything you trained for. Yep. And
then ever since then, he could never get by me. And he had got really frustrated and acted like he wanted to fight me. The first couple times that happened, like, okay, you were so used to winning all the time that now it's like you're not winning and now you're getting frustrated. But I should have been one mad. I was having headaches and, all this collision and you just taking advantage of somebody who never played this position. And we probably were the same weight at the time, but we moved past that. And I always give him credit. His name is Nate Russ because he was like, basically the person who helped develop me into becoming, a good pass blocker and everything on that level because he was already a JUCO All-American. So now I feel like everybody I was going to play against wasn't going to be as good as him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
So that helped me out a lot. So now we go through that season. We went undefeated that season, but we lost. We went to a bowl game, but we got killed in the bowl game. And after that season, guess what?
What?
Hayden Fry was the head coach at Iowa. Mm-hmm. He retired. So this is where I was supposed to be going to college too. I was supposed to be going to Iowa.
Yep. And
but the head coach retired.
I was gonna say, did you sign with the promise of like you were hoping to go to be coached by him as well?
Well, that too, because I used to watch this show. I forget what the name of the show was, but it was like based in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And they always talked about him. But yeah, that was part of it too. But it was just an opportunity to go to a D1 school. Iowa was a big time school at the time. So, I jumped on it. So no schools were allowed to even contact me, during that. But once that he retired, it was like open season. Now, I became a junior college All-American after my first year.
Wow.
And everybody now that contract is over, they all came in. And then Iowa came in like late, like after they got the new coaching and everything. And like still like, well, we still interested in keep you. Like, nah, thanks.
Wow.
Now I'm seeing all the attention from these other schools. I'm like, So I go into my junior year. I mean, my second year there, and I'm playing. I'm still playing at a good level. Preseason All-American and everything like that. Bob Greasy, that's how I first learned about him. He had like the projections for D1, every level, JUCO and everything. And then I ended up being the number one JUCO tackle or something like that at one point.
Oh, wow.
And then I ended up visiting some schools. I went to Rutgers. Of course, I'm from New Jersey.
Yep.
I went to
one of my friends went to Rutgers, yeah.
I wanted to go to Penn State, and they weren't taking junior college transfers at the time.
Oh, wow.
But that later comes back to bite them. I went to Arkansas. I had a really great time in Arkansas, actually. Houston Nutt was the coach at the time. I had a really great time there compared to when I went to Miami. When I went to Miami, it was such a weather change from me being in Scranton, Pennsylvania to Miami. I kind of caught a cold or something like the second day, and I wasn't in the mood to be. First of all, Miami's totally different.
Yeah.
Everything up north closes pretty much at 2:00. Miami's like 5. So you have me until like 5 or 6 in the morning. Then I have to be up to walk around campus the next day at like 9 or 10 in the morning. It's like I just got in, and then it's like get up. It's hot down there. It was like, so between not getting any sleep and the weather change, I ended up getting like a cold. So that evening, I just was not in the mood. Hang out anymore. So they probably felt like, oh, we lost him, but it was like I just wasn't feeling well. Like, you got me out to 6 o'clock in the morning, like, and then you had me up so early, like the next day, like, no. So it did end up coming down to Miami and Arkansas because one, my offensive coordinator, he went there, so he was always in my ear, and I feel like when they started hearing me say Arkansas a lot, my head coach was like, "Are you crazy? Like, why not Miami?" Then my mom's like, "Miami, like that." Like everybody was like Miami, so it swayed my opinion a little bit, and I ended up going to Miami, which was I'm glad I did. And from there, and that was Art Kehoe who came up there. He came in the building, so I remember chatting on my school like, somebody from University of Miami's here. I remember hearing them talk about it, and then they came and got me out of class, and it was like, oh, it's for me. And I met Art Kehoe, who actually was my offensive line coach. He had that area because he's from Conshohocken, and it's the area in Pennsylvania. So he had that area, and I was in Northeast Pennsylvania. So that was his area of recruiting, and somehow he found me, and told me he wanted me to come there and everything, and I ended up coming. And in the first year I got there, there was a guy. He was, they put you in the bottom of the depth chart, so I was like third or fourth string. I had to work my way up, and there was a guy who was a starter. He was a 5th-year senior, and he was with them all through, like, they were on probation. So my class was the first class that they had full scholarships back since they were on probation. So basically, I competed, and I was working my way up that chart. And all of a sudden, I was rotating with the number one guy, and they know I really beat him. But then they wanted to sit me down in the office. Bush Davis says, you'll be even better if you have a full year under your belt. You learn everything. You'll play faster than that. I feel like I did a great job. I came from 4th all the way up to rotating to 1. He's like, but Robert Hall, he's been here with us, and this is his senior year. We don't really want to do him like that, and but we'll still be able to still have you. You still have 2 years eligibility. I won. I want to play. And then it took me like talking to other people. I think my mom, like a couple other people was saying, just do it. Yeah, they're right. You should. Yeah. I was like, I guess. So I ended up redshirting.
Yeah, you did.
And then, then I came back my junior year, and of course I held down a position for the next 2 years. Came an All-American after my junior year there, and then consensus All-American by my senior year. And then went on to win a national championship and had some great teammates. Wow. Yeah, had some great teammates there. Had some just great experiences. I feel like I'm God in this interview.
No, that's a good. No, I was going to say I've got a question lined up.
So wait, when I got the scholarship at University of Miami, of course I said to my grandmama, I said, "Grandmama, guess what?"
No, that's exactly it. And then, so basically, after you've gone from Lackawanna to Miami, and then, as you said, you had no ambition to play in the NFL when you were in high school, just playing ball with your friends. And talk to us about draft night 2002. And you find out you've been drafted to the Minnesota Vikings. Given what
I was in New York. I was in
New York. Okay.
Yeah. I got invited to New York. So you were there for like a couple of days prior.
Yep.
And at the time, that was the right after 9/11.
Yeah.
So it was the first draft after 9/11 happened in September.
Mm-hmm.
We were there in April of 2022.
Security massive.
2002.
Yep.
I'm talking about 20.
2002. Yep.
Yeah.
So we went to fire stations. We rang the stock market bell. We went to Ground Zero. We did a lot. We going on a tour. They had us busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in New York, and guess who else was there? My grandma.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Did you take
I reminded her
draft?
again. She was at the draft. So was my dad, my mom, sister,
Yep.
a bunch of family. And I was always projected to go. Overall, coming into the draft, they grade you.
Yep.
So it was always back and forth between me and Julius Peppers at who was 1 and who was 2. So it was a lot back and forth. But then when it came to the draft, it's based on a team's needs. So it doesn't matter where you're graded at. It depends on what the team needs. So even though we were 1 and 2 the whole time, neither one of us went number 1.
Yeah. Yep.
David Carr went number 1, matter of fact, to the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Julius Peppers actually went number 2, though. He went to Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I was projected to always go number 4.
Mm-hmm.
No, number 5. They were always saying I was going to go to San Diego, which to me I was like, oh, perfect, because I go from nice weather to nice weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there was a certain point where they were saying Buffalo. I think Buffalo had number 4.
Yep.
So you might go to Buffalo, you might go 4 or 5. There's 4 was Buffalo, 5 was San Diego. And then I didn't go to neither. Actually, another tackle, a right tackle, Mike Williams, he went to Buffalo. And I was like, wow, he was there too. He was there because it was about 7 of us. He was at the draft, so he ended up going to Buffalo, which I wasn't really mad at because they play outside, and it was like, okay, maybe I'll go to San Diego. And then his teammate Quentin Jammer went to San Diego. And I'm like, wait a minute. I ain't really looked past number 5, but who's the other teams?
Yeah.
So after that was Kansas City, and the guy, he wasn't there with us, but he got drafted there, Brian Sims, D tackle. He went to Kansas City. And while I was watching him go to Kansas City, the phone rang for me. And I picked up the phone. Yeah. And I'm like, this is Mike Tice. Are you ready to become a Minnesota Viking? I was like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I hung up the phone. I was like, when in the world is in Minnesota?
The weather's awful in Minnesota.
Then I started thinking about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Yeah.
They're a producer for Janet Jackson. Then I thought about the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yep.
And then I thought about Prince. I started thinking about just different things what's in Minnesota? And then I remember, Randy Moss and Donnie Culpepper.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were there. So I was like, okay, I'm excited to be their teammate. And then, you go, they call you on stage, you have the jersey on, the hat, and then right from there, you go to this press conference, do press, and they flew me right out, couldn't even grab my bag from the hotel, go straight to the airport. I don't know how they timed this out, but it was go straight to the airport, get on this flight, and you come right to Minnesota and do a whole nother press conference.
Wow. Did you get to say goodbye to your family at least?
Yeah, quickly, after the press conference, was ushering out, walking me out here because it's a limo already waiting, and
far out. And then that was the beginning of what becomes an illustrious NFL career for you. You spent
let's talk about something else.
Okay. Yep. What do you want
to
talk
all
about?
That. And remember, I had the second longest holdout in NFL history.
80 games, wasn't it?
Huh?
So I thought you were saying about the most consecutive starts. Sorry.
No, longest holdout in history. And I had the second longest. So, they're excited with the mini camp. So now we come down to do the contract. Me and number 6, we're so 6 and 7, we didn't get signed yet because number 8, which was Roy Williams, he went to Dallas. They did his contract fast and it was done. And our teams were like, well, they paid him too much. I was like, well, I get it, but just pay me 1 cent more because it has to be slotted. We know that's how the order goes from 1 to 10. That's a little crazy. How does my number 8 make more than the number 7 pick? It's slotted.
Yeah.
In the first round. It's supposed to be that way. And now y'all trying to tell us that he got overpaid. It's fix it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So me and him were holding out for a while. Then all of a sudden, what people don't know is like during training camp, you practice against certain teams, and just so happened the team that we practiced against was Kansas City. So somehow they had something going on, and then they got him in.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm left out here by myself to the point where my mom was like, "Are we sure we picked the right agent?" I'm like, "You helped." Like, yeah. And it was getting a little lonely out here. It's like October. And my agent had realized that there was some type of collusion that took place where two teams can't negotiate or break a deal to benefit, with each other on players' contracts. And that's what they did.
Oh, okay.
And we found proof of it. And so now we're suing them.
Yep.
This is a lot. I haven't even played it down yet. It's a lot just to get the business side done.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It is. And then you have like teammates saying things like, he hasn't played it down. Like, why is he fighting about money? It's like, yeah, because they could cut you at any moment too. I had to learn the business side real quick.
Yep.
So once I did that, they agreed to, give the money they were supposed to give, as long as I dropped my lawsuit, and we were able to move forward. I only had 1 week left, or I had to enter the draft the following year.
Oh, far out.
1 week left. I was in October still at home, like watching, like working out. Crazy. But we finally got that done, and then I came in. When I must have came in like on a Friday, and they must have traveled on the Saturday. So I didn't travel with them. I stayed and I worked out with the trainer. So the trainer had me come in there, and I was working out with him while they were away. And then I just jumped right into suit the following week, and then basically they rotated me and the guy Ever Lindsay at the position. They basically were asking me like, just let them know it's serious where if I want to get a breather or whatever, because this is my first. I'm just throwing in a game mid-season,
like what?
I took majority of the snaps. I was like, well, let me just do it. Like, so I just took majority of the snaps, and I just played it. And then from there, I just started the rest of the season. I ended up making the all rookie team right after the year.
Wow, literally a week out from having to go back in the draft, and then you end up all rookie, and then you end up doing 80 consecutive starts, which is more or less unheard of, really, at that point in time. And that's amazing. And what was it like having those players, that you mentioned at Minnesota, and of course Brett Favre as the quarterback during part of your time at the Vikings as well? And how did that improve your game?
Having players like I'm gonna say Randy Moss was a great leader.
Mm-hmm.
So like him, and then even when you eventually had you add like Adrian Peterson, who was a great player too. And then Brett Favre, I feel like he was probably the most influential player because everybody kind of started playing for each other and not the coaches. And that was the best season I had as a Viking.
Yeah.
Wow. And everybody was playing not to let each other down, but everybody was really playing for him. Yeah. So he came there with a purpose, and we got over to the NFC Championship. And we would probably like to make, of course, we'd like to make the Super Bowl, but for him, he did what he was supposed to do. He came there and he took us very far. The furthest I had ever been there, I'd already been there for like 7 years or something like that. So that was the furthest. About 7 years already I had been there. And that had been the furthest. So
yeah, wow.
That was a great experience.
That really is testament to Brett, as you were saying. Everyone started playing for each other and playing for him. As you said, that was the furthest you'd got in a season in the NFL, and Brett's first season at the team, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And how did Brett compare to Joe Flacco during your Super Bowl run with the Ravens that season?
Brett was more of a seasoned quarterback, so Brett would change the play. He's seen something.
Yep.
It's more that experience. It was 20 years or so he played. It was all the experience that he had. He would see something. He was like, call a different play, or we even had times where our coach would call a play and he'd be like, that's not going to work. And he'd touch to a whole other play.
Yep.
And he's done it a few times, and sometimes it didn't work, and there'd be arguments with them on the sideline, but
yep.
It happened a few times. I remember one time we played Detroit, and Coach Churchill tried to pull him out of the game because of that, but he said he wasn't coming out, and then Tavares Jackson said, well, I'm not going in. So what you going to do?
Yeah. Wow. And speaking of that Super Bowl season with the Ravens, what a season for the Ravens in general and for you as well. I'll cross it over to Manjot to ask some questions about that year and that game in particular, especially about the blackout during the game. Manjot, get you to cover those questions, mate.
Well, can I just say something real quick?
Go for it.
Yeah.
The year before, we had a better record, and we actually went to the NFC Championship against New England.
Oh,
so
wow.
we went up there in New England. They said that Lee Evans didn't catch the ball, so we went to go kick a field goal, and he missed it. He, for some reason, they were saying he wasn't really like tuned in and paying attention to the game.
Yeah,
the kicker. He missed the field goal. We lost that game. We get in the locker room. Ray Lewis is like, "Don't hold your heads low. We'll be back here in the same position next year." Me, I'm thinking like, what's the odds of us being here again next year? We were.
Yeah.
After we got past Denver, we ended up back in that same position next year.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And Manjot, crossing over to you to cover that entire Super Bowl season that was Ravens and Bryant McKinnie.
Yeah. So firstly, like you just mentioned, that Denver divisional playoff, just talk about that emotion you guys felt when Jacoby Jones made that mile-high miracle catch and you guys won in double overtime after that.
A miracle definitely what it was, because I was on the sideline at that point, like, guess I got to pack up my house and get ready to head back to Florida.
Shit.
And then we had got another chance to get the ball, and that's when that happened. And when that happened, I was like, oh, we're winning this game. Like, this is over. Like, it's done. Like, once we got past them, even when I got on the plane after that game, and I knew we was going to make the New England, I was like, oh, we're beating. Like, it wasn't even – getting past Denver was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once we got past them, because that was like the big deal.
Yeah.
Once we got past them and knew we had another shot, and I'm thinking to myself, because I just remember Ray Lewis saying that in my head, like, we're in the same position. I'm like, oh my God, we're about to be in the same position. Like,
yep.
There's no way.
You're like, we ain't losing this.
Right. And it's not, now it's my year 11 for me. Like,
yeah.
I've been to 2 NFC championships and lost already. You know, I mean,
you're like, I won that
NFC
ring.
championship and 1 AFC championship. So like, I keep knocking on the door, but
you're like, give me that ring.
Third time I'm going in.
No, that's exactly it. Manjot, more questions, mate. Go for it.
Yeah. So literally, you just beat Peyton Manning against Denver. Now you get to face Tom Brady. Revenge as well. They literally eliminated you the year before. So how did it feel? Were you guys nervous, or were you guys more confident this time?
It was way more confidence. It was way more revenge. You wanted revenge. It was just a lot more focus. I remember during that playoff run, Ray Lewis asked everybody to, the year before, if we'd went to the Super Bowl and won, he'd have retired then.
Yeah.
He came back.
Yeah.
To end it the way he wanted to end it. So that season, he asked everybody to stay off social media and focus on your play. So times that you use to get on social media, focus on your craft and things like that. And everybody bought into it. And, monitored each other, make sure you didn't see them always posting stuff on social media, and just stay off of it and let us focus, these next couple of weeks and, on getting to the Super Bowl. And everyone bought into it. So when we got back there was no way, we're not going to have the same feeling twice. No, watch them celebrating. We're going to go there this time. We're going to ruin their party. They already felt like the year before they beat us and they went there, and now they get to play us again. They probably feel like, yeah, we beat them last year, we'll beat them again. No, was not having it. And we were able to get through this. And that game wasn't even a close game like it was the year before. It was to the point where even Peyton Manning tried to kick Ed Reed or something. Remember, he slid into some awkward kick up there, Ed Reed, when Ed intercepted the ball. It was a knockdown, drag-out fight, but in Tom Brady's defense, he sent us Uggs when we got to the Super Bowl. He sent the team Uggs, Ugg slippers.
Yep. Wow.
So he must have a deal with Uggs or something, because he sent us all Uggs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the build up to the Super Bowl, of course, you guys fly in, and then you're in New Orleans this time. So how is it just going on the media day? Did you get interviewed yourself? How is it on the media night?
It's a lot of media. I knew some of the people that was part of the media. A lot of media. There was a lot of hype around the game too, because the 2 head coaches were brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was in New Orleans. They were saying that, this year Beyonce has a football game at her show. Y'all get it?
Yeah.
Beyonce's having a football game at her show this year. Because there's so much hype around her performance.
It's like this year, Eminem, he's got a football game going on at his show.
Right.
Yeah.
But so it was like all those things, and then it was like a lot of our first time ever being in this position.
Yeah.
On the national, football level, like NFL level, and I just remember people just saying different things, like when they have the kickoff, just look around, they see all the million lights going off and things like that. So certain things that I just took in and really, was there in the moment, like but it felt like a college bowl game though, because you were going different places that week of.
Mm-hmm.
And you were doing things like you still had practice, but you still had like other activities that you were doing as a team too.
Yeah.
So it felt like, dang, this is like a bowl game for it, like a college bowl game. But that's what this is similar to things that you do in the college bowl games.
And how did it compare to the Hurricanes college win that you got with that team? Like the week of that game and all that, was it very similar sort of thing?
No, because in college we were like, oh, we're gonna win. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This was different because it's like, everybody's gonna play. It's the best of the best. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like you're going against people who are like freshmen, sophomore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's the best of the best, and everybody has their grown man strength already and skill set. Where college, you could kind of overpower some people just because age difference a little bit, just different things. And they had a good, like, the people I had to line up against was Alden Smith and Justin Smith. They were really good. You know what I'm saying? And me and Konnection Assembly, we had to match up against them. So we both were good too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was just a great matchup that they kind of highlighted as well. And it was just two good teams that really, battled. But we came out and we really came out like swinging, until the lights went out.
And what was it
if
like?
You look at it, like we were up at halftime, maybe like 21.
I think it's 21 to 7, I think, or 3. Yeah, something like
28 to 6 was the highest point. Yeah, 28 to 6 was like the point.
That 28 got scored when we came out. So we were supposed to have possessions when we came out. So remind you now, normal halftime is 11 minutes. The Super Bowl is 30. Yep. So you're in there longer. So, it's halftime. We're in there for 30 minutes at halftime. Beyonce performing all that. Then you come back out where, offense is supposed to have the ball, but Jacoby runs it back for a touchdown. We never touch the field. Defense is on the field now. They're kind of driving the ball on the defense. They're now on like a little past the 50, like on the 45, the lights go out. So now lights go out for another 30 minutes. That's 30 minutes right there where the lights were out. So that's over an hour.
That's basically an extra half time, really.
But for an offense being not touching the field over an hour, because remember, at halftime, ball got ran back. We never touched the field. The defense was driving. I don't know how long that took for them to drive, to where they were getting to. And then the lights went out. So that's over an hour of us never touching the field.
Yep.
And, the first, I'm going to say 15 minutes, we didn't know what was going on. And then somebody started saying like, oh, if a generator, it'll come back on this amount of time. When they told us 10 minutes left, that's when the coach said, okay, you got to move around, start stretching. But as an offense, everybody, all 11 people have to move in one accord. Defense, 10 people could blow an assignment, one person make a sack or interception, that's a big play. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for us not to be on the field for over an hour, things was getting a little like, okay. lose a little bit of momentum. Their offense was just on the field. So for them, it could have been halftime for them. Us, it's been over an hour. So the rhythm was off a little bit. And then all of a sudden it went from 28 to 6 to like a 5-point game.
Yeah. I think the blackout definitely helped the 49ers.
It did.
Like, as you were saying, the momentum just sort of shifted after that blackout, which Manjot's beloved 49ers did start a comeback, but they definitely couldn't seal the deal with your Ravens running out the winners that year. And what was it like when that final, whistle or play of the game and you realized you were Super Bowl champions?
Like, some of us were screaming like, ah! Like, you just couldn't believe it. Like, because that ball, it came down to like, if you really look at the end of the game, it was like the kicker was back there like trying to stall time, like the run time. It was like a lot going on.
Yep.
And for it to finally be over, it was a nail biter. So it became a nail biter at the end. So like, it was like relief to finally be over. Like, good, it's over.
Wow. And who was your first phone call after like you get into the sheds and all that?
I don't know, my family was there. They ran down on the field.
Yep.
So outside that, I don't know who I called because I had family and friends there.
Yep. Was your grandma there?
She was the first person who found me on the field.
Yes, she was.
Somehow.
Yes.
She broke away from my mom and came up to me first, found me first. I was like, Grandma.
Should I give it up?
You remember, that was the first thing I said to her. She's like, yeah. Like, she was there.
Oh, that's great. That's got me goosebumps. That's so great.
And like, when did you touch that Super Bowl trophy? Like, when did you, like, how long
on the
did
plane.
it take?
I touched it on the plane. People were trying to touch it during the thing, but on the plane, I took a picture with it.
Yeah, nice.
I'm actually going to post on my social media like a little recap of my Super Bowl week.
Yep.
Since it is Throwback Thursday and it's Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
Wow. And speaking of Super Bowl, obviously we've got the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, Super Bowl 56, with the Bengals taking on the Rams. What's your take? Who do you think is going to win and the winning margin sort of thing?
You know why? It's so hard to pick. You know, naturally I would want to say the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you have Odell Beckham, who's hungry for one. I feel like Aaron Donald, and then he has Von Miller over there. Like, they're playing great on defense. I know the Bengals, you know, offensive line is a little shaky, but they're still making plays. And if you would have asked me, the Bengals haven't been in the playoffs in 31 years, but if you asked me they into the Super Bowl, I wouldn't have thought so. So every time I go against them, it's like they're finding ways to win.
Uh-huh.
I feel like everybody in their minds, like, basically the Rams are playing at a home game, but I seen the little Simpsons thing, and it said, I don't know if these things are real or what.
Yeah, right.
But
I saw that the other day.
The Bengals won by 3 points.
I mean, and as you know, the Simpsons definitely predict everything. So maybe the Bengals by 3 points. My heart's saying the Bengals, but my head, unfortunately, is saying maybe the Rams. But I'm hoping the Bengals get over the line. Jesus, brain fighting hard right now. Manjot, do you have any more questions, Super Bowl or not Super Bowl related for Brian?
Yeah, I've actually got a few. So mainly about so the first one about that Super Bowl. So the 49ers have 4 great linebackers: Ahmad Brooks, Patrick Willis.
Patrick Willis.
Navarro Bowman, and of course Alden Smith, you just mentioned. How do you guys game plan for that linebacker core? Because they had a phenomenal year, all of them.
They did. I don't know. I was just aware. We were aware of, you know, them. We actually played them the year before on Thanksgiving in Baltimore. Yeah. So I was aware of, you know, how good they were, just so having playing them the year before. But you have to go out there and feel like that you're gonna have a better day than them. That's kind of how we approach everything. And then all week long, you know, me and Konnection always kept having to hear about the Smith. They're not brothers, but they be like, the Smith brothers. It's like, okay, y'all hyping them up. Yeah. That's motivating us. Like, you know?
Yeah. Nice. Did you have any pre-game hype music that you used to listen to, like a specific artist or whatever? Not just for the Super Bowl, but in general.
Yeah, I had a playlist. Yeah, it could change though, just based on what songs were coming out that kind of motivated me to kind of get hype or whatever. Yeah, but I had certain rituals too that I got dressed in the same order. I always came in, I looked at the media guy first before I started getting dressed. I got the same ankle tape for the most part.
What was the order that you would put on? Would it be, you know, you tell us what.
I think
I
started with the socks and all that stuff first.
Oh. There you go.
I started with the socks or something first. I don't even remember the order now because I'm going to
but it was always socks first.
Yeah, it was definitely a certain order that I got dressed. Wow. Certain things I did, period, that I got dressed. I had to read the media guy first before I did anything.
Yeah.
Go through the media guy. Like, there was certain things I had to do.
Who was...
And then when it came to get taped.
Yeah, which teammate at any of the teams you played for had the weirdest superstition or pre-game ritual?
Matt Bird.
Yeah?
Matt Bird.
What was it?
I've been in the bathroom a couple times. Somebody there throwing up. I'm like, oh, who is that? And it was him. What's funny is when I first got to Minnesota, because he was in Minnesota and Baltimore with me. So he was already in Minnesota. He's a veteran. He's older than me. So he was in Minnesota. And I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, I went to bed to get stumped out here. And I had went to the bathroom like a couple weeks in a row. I'm like, who is this all the time? Like, every time I come in here, throwing up, like it was him.
Wow.
Like, that is weird. Like, how do you play after that? Like, there's nothing left. Like, you ate breakfast, you just threw it back up. Like,
Speaking of, did you ever have any like pre-game meal like the night before or the day of? Was it
the night
specific
before?
meal?
It was like I had a rider, right? So even when I got to like Baltimore, they knew, and definitely when I got to the Dolphins, they already knew. Like the night before, you have the team snack, but then I always had to have cereal when I go up in my room. So they always made sure I had cereal. The Vikings already knew. Even away games, there's certain brands of cereal. Either Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes. Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes, and it was one more, but I knew those two were the main two. And they always had to make sure they had them miniature boxes for me. They give me like 6 of the boxes, and they give me the little milk in the little plastic bag, and I'll take it up.
Love it.
And that went on all my whole time. And it's like, I don't know who made the phone call from Minnesota to Baltimore and said, hey, make sure he has this. But then they did. And then when I got to Miami, it was like, they knew. I was like, hey, don't you know to get cereal? I'm like, how you know this? Like,
and what was it like going from obviously the peak, as in Super Bowl, and then going over to Miami and playing, the remainder of your career at Miami? More or less.
I thought it was going to be great because, it was like, oh, I'm back home. My house was only like 11 minutes from that facility, but I got there day 5. It was like the bullying situation where the players, and it was in my room. There was an old lineman. I'm like, bullying? I thought they were friends. Like, I was confused. But yeah, I was like, this is a mess. So then all my friends was calling me like, what you got going on down there? I said, this has nothing to do with me. These two been here. Like, apparently somebody think they're being bullied, or I don't know. It was confusion.
It was crazy. Yeah, well, Manjot, any other questions?
Yeah, so about a few teammates now. So starting with your time at the Vikings, you obviously blocked for Adrian Peterson, especially during his like rookie year where you rushed for 200 yards like a couple of times. How did it feel to like be in those special games?
Get out his way, he's gonna run you right in your back. I was like, that AP, so like you gotta really get on your block and get out of the way. He's gonna run boom. So it's kind of a form of motivation. Like you either want to get hit in the back or you want to just drive your guy out the way. I'm gonna just drive my guy out the way.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And what's
but no, it's great. It's great, especially when you look back on it now. And what's funny is, as you bring up AP, because like I have a separate podcast that I do. I have one for the Vikings, but I have another one.
Oh, it's okay. Because I know about the Vikings one.
I have another one called Macamica Live that a company uninterrupted asked me to start. And Adrian came on as a guest on there. He came a guest on both of them, actually.
Oh, wow.
But today he was on the Dan Lebatard show, right? And somebody sent me the clip, the video. And they asked him, they said, well, everybody talks about how strong you are, how you have this grip or whatever. And they were like, well, who are some of the strong people that you've like played with or encountered or seen? And he was like, oh, Percy Harvin, he's definitely strong enough. He said, well, who else? He said, oh, Bryant McKinnie, I don't know how I can forget this. He's like, he's strong and this, that, and other. He's like, I mean, he's 6'8". He's 400 pounds. I was like, hold on.
You doing me dirty.
I never know 400 pounds. I posted that on my page today too. So I was like, what are you 400 pounds? As a joke, like.
That's awesome.
But I know he's trying to probably exaggerate my size a little bit, but not 400 pounds.
You could probably bench 400, but you weren't
right.
400.
How about that?
yeah, that's it. Manjot, next player.
Yeah, so today the Hall of Fame class is being announced, and one of the finalists is your former teammate who you probably went up against in practice, Jared Allen. How is it like just to go against him, and how would it feel for you to see him in the Hall of Fame if he gets inducted later today?
I feel like he deserves it. I feel like he brought a lot to the game. I feel like he was a character. He do his little tie up. So that's good for him. I think he should make it. He was definitely an impact player there. And like I say, a personality. When I say a character, I mean like a personality. Not like some people, like Ocho Cinco's a personality. Certain people are personalities. He was one too.
Yeah, we could. Next player, or were those the only players?
Oh, there's some more. Yeah. So Ed Reed, you went to college with him. He was on the Ravens as well. Legendary safety. Like, just how is he like as like a person as well?
Ed is actually a real laid back person. In outside of football,
I was gonna say he seems like white line fever when he's on the pitch.
No, very laid back and very mellow. But Ed is actually a very good student of the game and studies and watches different things and clues and keys to things. So that's why he's always a step ahead and able to get all those interceptions because he's a very good student.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next bloke. Or...
But he's fun. He's always fun. He was my hangout partner when we was in college.
Yep. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So quickly onto the Dolphins. So now he's the Lions head coach, Dan Campbell. Like, how is he like in the locker room as a coach? Like, what was like your experiences with him?
He was really cool when he was there with the Dolphins. So I'm pretty sure he's a cool coach there, you know, with the Lions. I feel like the coaches when I got to the Dolphins, they were actually nice. I feel like I got treated better. Like I got treated like finally a veteran. Because they take like all the reps. I'm like, why am I taking all these reps? I've been here like how many years? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I got there, they kind of understood, like, you know, like, let's save him, like, let's keep him fresh. Let's not wear him down. I hear all these other stories, like, yeah, you go out to San Fran, they take care of Justin Smith, you know, he's a vet. I'm like, well, somebody, Coach Tyson tried to take care of me early in my career. Like, okay, yeah, such that I'm gonna make sure you guys don't practice much on Friday. Like, it'll be certain groups of us here do that with me, Pat and Kevin Williams, certain people. But then when new coaches came, then it's like, oh, just do everything. And then, yeah, I don't know. But when I got to Miami, they kind of understood that.
Yeah, no, that's actually really awesome. And speaking of, just going to go for a few submitted questions, and then we'll go back to Manjot for some questions. So we've got some from the Logan City Bears, which is a local gridiron team nearby where I live. William Glass, the quarterback, asks if during the season you always had your eyes on the Super Bowl during the Ravens Super Bowl season.
Really, the year before, I had my eyes on it because we were like 12-4.
Yep.
So I really thought we wouldn't go then. The second year, kind of, the record wasn't as good, but it's still like once we got in the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah.
So once we made the playoffs, I definitely had my eyes, on like, oh, we can do this.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Port City Pirates ask, what did a game day look like from waking up, so having your cereal, to taking the field?
I had the cereal the night before.
Oh, sorry.
You know what's funny is, which isn't funny, if I go back and fix some things, is, you know, early in my career, I couldn't eat, like when I first got up, like I would wake up in time, like to shower and head to the stadium. I couldn't wake up and eat right away. I still can't to this day. So I didn't used to eat, I used to eat breakfast. And then like by the fourth quarter, I'd be like, gas. But then somebody realized, like, we never see him down here for breakfast because I wasn't eating it.
Yeah.
So then they started making us do like these sign-in things, like you have to come down there. Somebody realized I wasn't never coming down for breakfast, so they were like, a couple years into my career at Minnesota, you would have to come in and somebody would have to see you and sign in. So now at this point, if I'm there, I might as well eat. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I started eating breakfast, but before that, I was more concerned of getting my rest. And then when you think about it, like that was a long time. You didn't eat since last night, and then you're up for a game that starts in Minnesota, started at noon. So therefore you had to be at the stadium 2 hours prior. So you had to be at the stadium at 10. So that means I've been up since 8. So it's all that time I haven't eaten from 8 o'clock to noon, and then playing in the game. The game's over like 3:30. So it's like, that's a long window.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
And of your numbers that you wore, 74 and 78, which one was your preferred and why?
78.
78?
Matt Burke already had it by the time I got to Minnesota. So I was like, oh, what number I'm going to take? Like, I already had 78 my whole life.
Yep.
So I just picked 74 because it was like, out of the options of the numbers, I was like, well, maybe 74 because I didn't really care for the other numbers, like 60 numbers and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll just take 74.
No, that's fair. I'm just seeing if there's any other questions. One Reddit user asked, how intense is John Harbaugh during training sessions?
I actually had this conversation the other day. I think he's probably not as intense now with the new generation as he was with us.
Okay.
He probably was more intense with us because that was a different breed of people. You know what I'm saying? And you had Ray Lewis, you had those guys is a little different, where things are a little more like not as hardcore.
Yeah.
And that's even down to practices. You got to remember when I first came in the league, we were having 2 a days, where towards the end of my career, it was only 1. You know, the second practice day was special teams, so things were lighting up. So yeah, I think he was able to. I think he was a little harder with us, and then he's found himself. He's able to find a way to fit in with those guys. I can tell when I see things on the Ravens page, he's able to fit in, and those guys are open with him, and like that wasn't like that with us.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I've only got a few more questions, and then I'll cross it
and
over.
He probably couldn't be like that with us either, because yes, people that was.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, wow. Well, I mean, but also at the same time, we saw it in the Pro Bowl. I don't mean to be rude, because they're absolutely professional athletes and they are good at what they do, but they don't want to risk injury, going into the off season, so they can have a primed, next season coming up. So I can absolutely understand how back in the day, when you were playing as a youngster, it was a lot more intense. Just got a few quick questions, and I'll pass it over to Manjot to finish off the questions. Another Reddit user said, as an offensive lineman, you were required to carry a lot of mass. How did you adapt to post-NFL life?
Oh, me, it was kind of easy. I was social in the locker room and outside the locker room. So it was easy for me. And plus, you got to remember, I started football late, where a lot of people started at 6 years old or somewhere like around there. Well, I started in high school. So that was their identity for a longer time than mine. Mine started as a teenager. So I didn't always identify myself as that. And then plus, remember I said it wasn't a big thing going to the league. So to me, I was playing just for sport. And my friends played. So a lot of those guys come from those big cities or places where it is a thing. It was different for them. You know what I'm saying? I kind of just kept going with the flow, basically, and then realized, like, oh, I can really do this. Like, when I got to Miami. And that's when it became, like, more of a football thing. So that was, like, definitely late. I was definitely 20, 21, you know what I'm saying? Compared to people who are 6, 7, 8. So for me, that was never my identity, where a lot of people, that's how they identify themselves. And then when it's over and they retired and they don't really know what else to do, or they feel like, oh, well, what am I supposed to do? But I have a concierge, because I'm social. I have a concierge company here in Florida. I have a company called Let's Chat. I have a foundation. I do a lot of things. I'm social.
Yeah, nice. And what does your foundation benefit or help, sort of thing?
Healthy kids, healthy living. We actually have an event on, I think it's 26th, which is on a Saturday. My 9th annual celebrity kickball tournament. Basically, everybody comes in, plays in the tournament, and they play my all-star team, which consists of current and former NFL athletes. We have that. So they're basically healthy kids, healthy living, single-parent homes, and mental health awareness.
Awesome. Well, honestly, that is so awesome. So for anyone who could benefit from those that's listening,
called B Major Foundation.
B Major Foundation will be linked in the description of this episode. For anyone who's listening or watching, absolutely get on board with B Major Foundation.
Feel free to make a donation. We're trying to do things out here. I do
absolutely
Operation Prom, where I take care of some kids' proms. I have to go and do the back search to make sure they're good kids and see the stats of their family, if their family is able to afford things like that. So I've done that plenty of time. You can see that on my Instagram, my B Major Foundation Instagram. You see stuff like that on there. I've done back to school drives. I've done Christmas giveaways. I've done Operation Turkey. We've done it the past 2 years. We're feeding 1,500 meals out. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. And I've got 2 more questions for you. Someone asks from Reddit, and no, is it Reddit? No, this one was from Kyle from the Townsville Cyclones. Yeah, well, why not? Why not go to Reddit?
Because Reddit, my friend was part of that company. Serena Williams is a good friend of mine. So her husband, Alexis, he was like one of the founders of somebody started Reddit or something like that.
It was something like that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's really awesome. They ask, Kyle from the Townsville Cyclones. The next one's from Reddit. Sorry. Is there anything you would recommend to young players to improve them as a football player?
Flexibility. I take yoga now. I take hot yoga. Flexibility helps you limit injuries, but also it helps you with your range of motion. Even as you get older, you should work on that, because that's why I see older people who take these short little steps. It's because they lost their range of motion. So I started off going to this place called Stretch Zone, which I'm going to add back to my regimen. But me and my Hurricane teammate, Brandon Carey, we're the 2 biggest guys on there, but we take yoga. We take it a couple times a week. And it really helps out a lot, actually. I've been starting to feel the benefits from it, especially my knees, too. My knees used to have like aches and stuff, but I feel like it was tightness around, different things around it that are now getting loose, and now I'm not having as much issues.
Yeah, nice. And one last question I've got, then I'll cross it over to Manjot to close it out with a few more questions. It's from Red. I just got to figure out which one. There we go. Who of the 2001 Hurricanes team was the most musically talented?
The most musically talented?
Yeah, because I think they know that you're trying to music career, and they thought maybe there was someone in the team that was, surprised you by being so.
Well, I have.
gifted.
I'm a 3-time Grammy-nominated co-executive producer, so
it's you then.
Accolades, it's me.
It's you, absolutely, absolutely, it's you. That's wicked. And what are your thoughts on the current Vikings O-line roster? Ian would want to know that.
It still needs some improvement. We talked about that actually the other day. Because what I don't like that they do is if somebody gets hurt, say their right guard gets hurt, they'll move the starting right tackle to right guard. Like they shift things weird. So, okay, the right guard's hurt, leave everybody there and just fill in that space with whoever's behind them. But they rotate people in weird ways that I don't understand. So now you have the right tackle not playing right tackle because the right guard's hurt, but you feel like, he can play right guard, so we'll move him there. It's like a weird shuffle that I hate, and I hope that changes.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. And I'll pass it off to Manjot to finish off with a few questions for you.
Yeah, so just about more teammates. So our viewers would probably have seen the movie The Blind Side. So how was Michael Oher like in real life?
Not like that movie. I feel like they made him seem like he was a little slow in that movie, and that's why he made a book. That's why he wrote a book after the movie came out to kind of tell you how he is. But Michael Oher is definitely a great guy. He was a great teammate. And the thing why I say that is because, when I left the Vikings, Ray Lewis called me, like, "Oh, you're coming here." And I was like, "Wait a minute. Like, let me figure out what else is out there." No, I already know you're coming here. I already talked to everybody. I'm like, "You sure you talked to everybody?" "Yes, I already went upstairs. I got everything paid. Your locker will be not by mine and all." I was like, "But wait, y'all got a whole movie about somebody named The Blind Side, and I'm coming in. I'm not playing right tackle. So you still need to talk to him." "I already did. Everything's worked out. He's okay with playing right." I said, "Are you sure? Because I don't want to come in and there be any animosity and he's mad that he moved." "No, he's not." So once they said that, and then I got there and I talked to him, he's like, "Oh, no, I don't mind at all." Like, that's a great guy.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a really good
awesome.
That's so awesome. Like, he's so humble from what you're
saying. Me and my friends, he was on my he came on my podcast, the Mac and Mika podcast I have. Him and Jamarcus Sanford came on as guests because I was Jamarcus Sanford's teammate in Minnesota and I was his in Baltimore, and they were college teammates.
Oh, wow. World. That's such a
small they both were in town, and I ended up being a mutual friend of both of theirs.
Nice.
Yeah. Goodness. Yeah. So who was like the most legendary Miami Hurricane you played with? Because that 2001 team, everyone knows. Isn't it? It was
one of the player.
Yeah, who was the most the best you think, in your opinion, on that team?
How many of them went to win Super Bowls? I think
you have to say Ed Reed.
Yeah.
But then people are always gonna say Sean Taylor too.
And even you'd be in the mix because again, Super Bowl,
Yeah. On that team, I did my thing,
Yeah.
I finished in the top 10 for the Heisman and everything, won the Allen Trophy. So I wasn't too,
he did his thing. He got there.
Yeah. That's the tough one. I would probably say Ed Reed. Sean Taylor was young, when Sean Taylor was maybe freshman, sophomore, somewhere around there. So he developed to become an even better player after we left. But when I was there, you had people you had a lot of people there. You had Sean Taylor, you had Ed Reed, you had Vince Wilfork, you had Antro Roll, Jeremy Shockey. Behind him was Kellen Winslow. You had Antro Roll. You had Philip Buchanan. Yeah, you had Clint Portis. Behind Clint Portis was Willis McGahee. Behind Willis McGahee was Frank Gore. You had a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
So many.
Right.
Yeah.
Andre Johnson.
That depth chart. Yeah.
Right. That depth. Isn't that crazy? Your third was
Look at at a certain point you had Reggie Wayne and Santana Moss and Andre Johnson was behind them.
Right.
That's just that was just insane depth. Yeah. That's why they're called the best college team of all time. I'm sure you agree. Yeah. Definitely I have to ask because you mentioned him 5 or 6 times. Ray Lewis, like, how did it feel for him to win the Super Bowl? Because fun fact, so he actually was like the longest time between winning 2 Super Bowls, 12 years, 2000, and then he won one in 2012 as well. So, how did it feel to go like the longest drought in NFL history for a player, like just to win? How did it feel for him?
That's how he wanted to go out. He always kept saying he's going out in confetti. So even when he first called me and told me I was coming there, he was like, "Yeah, the Mr. Peace." I already know it. I always call him a prophet because he always would say some little things that would end up happening. And he's like, "You the Mr. Peace, you're gonna get me to the Super Bowl." That's my phone. That needs to be charged. He was like, "You're the Mr. Peace that needs to get to the Super Bowl." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I'm just now trying to figure out what team I'm going to. You already talking about the Super Bowl. And then like I said, how he said, "We'll be in the same situation next year." It was like, yeah, like, but he said a lot of different things. He said a lot of different things that actually came true. So I call him a prophet.
Yeah, wow.
It was definitely great, being his teammate because we both went to the University of Miami. We just wasn't there at the same time. I had never personally had any University of Miami teammates. The whole time I was in Minnesota, nobody from the University of Miami came. So to be able to go back and have Ed, who was the same year as me, and then Ray Lewis and a couple other guys like Tommy Street and those guys there, it felt good to be back around them. And it was great having him as a teammate. He's the one who started teaching me about, juicing the vegetables and like all that, making your own
nutrition and all that sort of stuff.
Like, yeah, he had got me to on the nutrition and all type of stuff. So these were things that I still was missing and still learning. Year 10, you know what I'm saying? Learning stuff from him. Yeah, breakfast, definitely breakfast.
No, that's honestly awesome. Manjot, I'll give, do you have any more questions? If not, we'll wrap it up. But any more questions for Bryant?
Shoot, there was one.
Go for it.
It's I'm having a brain moment. It's, gosh, so.
Oh, good. Well, while so no, you go. You just thought.
Yeah. So, just to close it out, if you would like to tell the story of your life, who would you want people to remember Bryant McKinnie as?
That's a great question. And also, if there was a movie of your life, who would play you?
Yeah.
I don't know who would play me. I always wanted to play Shaq, though. If Shaq ever would have had a movie. Growing up, I used to want to play Shaq. I don't know. I have to think who could play me, though. But knowing me is that people have to know, well, people should know, that I'm like the connector with everybody. Like, I'm the person who everybody's kind of friends with.
Mr. Network.
Yeah. But very loyal, very fun, very competitive, as you can see, and very, just kind of determined to get things done, the way they need to be done.
Yep. Like breakfast for dinner.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That about wraps it up. I think more or less, because obviously you need to charge your phone. I need to get to start editing. Thank you very much for your time. This episode will go up on Saturday America time, so Sunday our time. I'll send you the link when it's all up, tag you in it and all that jazz. So thank you very much, Bryant, for your time. And hopefully maybe the Ravens or the Vikings for you will be in the Super Bowl next year.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully. Well, anyway, I'm going to end the call. Thank you very much. And I'll keep in contact once the episode's all up and done.
Yeah. I'll follow you on Instagram, by the way. Yeah.
All right, cool.
If I haven't already. Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Take care. Have a good one. Take care, mate. Thank you.